for the workshop, even if they know they're not going to be able to join, because that way we know who to send the recordings to. So I'm not entirely surprised that it's just the four of us here today. But yeah, we'll go ahead and record it. We're going to send this out to everyone who's registered on the MyUMBC event. So if you haven't already registered and you do want the recordings, let us know. We'll make sure to get your email address. But welcome to our friends here. My name is Brianna Hughes. I am one of the Science Reference and Instruction Librarians. I'm also the Graduate Student Services Librarian. So that's kind of the two hats I'm wearing here with you today. I'll let my colleague introduce herself.
Yeah, I'm Erin Durham-Wright, and I'm a Reference and Instruction Librarian. I generally work with humanities departments and arts departments. This is also just to say that there are subject librarians for every department major on campus. So just know that we are all equipped and eager to give assistance in whatever area you are. So you can always take a look at what your major is and who your librarian may be, and pretty easy to schedule an appointment. So just a note on that.
Yeah, we have the link on this slide here of how you can view the slides if you wanted to click along with us. But again, as I said, we'll be sending them out as a separate attachment. It would be helpful to know, those of you who are here with us, kind of where you're coming from, what your background is. We often have grad students of all levels, some folks who aren't grad students but work at UNMBC. So would you be willing to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Glenda Weber, and my study is in GES.
Yeah,
Aquatic ecology.
Very cool. And what year are you in your program?
I just started as a grad student.
Congratulations.
well, it's a good workshop to come to.
Yes, that's very exciting.
Years just to see after this many years I could cope with going back to school.
How's it going so far?
So far, so good. But
Good.
Technologically challenged.
Yes, it is a lot to get used to, technology-wise. Sure. And Rebecca, would you mind introducing yourself?
Hi, sure. Is my sound working?
Yes.
Okay, great. Hi, I'm Rebecca. I have a lot of UMBC connections. I currently work with the math department. I'm a lecturer and I teach primarily 100 level math classes, but I'm also an alum. I got my master's degree from UMBC in 2013, and I am back as a student this fall. I just started a PhD program with the School of Public Policy. So I figured it's been quite a while since I've had to do graduate level research. So I was excited to see this opportunity to kind of get back into what the library has to offer to help me as I'm working on that PhD.
Well, that's great. Thanks for joining us. I'm sure there are going to be some new things you learned since 2013. So hopefully we cover a lot of stuff. As we go, Glenda, if you have any questions, feel free to just interrupt us. And Rebecca, if you have questions, you can certainly put them in the chat. We've got an eye on that, but you can also just come off mute and say, hey, I've got a question real quick. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. We are here. Obviously, Glenda, you found us, and you know where to find us now. Rebecca, you probably are familiar with where the library is. We always like to start out with the big picture so that folks do know if they're joining online where to find us on campus. We also have a very strong web presence. Our website is library.umbc.edu. And as you'll see throughout this workshop, so much of what we have to offer in terms of resources and services can both be accessed in person in the library and also online. And then there are some things that are mutually exclusive. So things that are only available in person and only available online. But both are great places to get started, either coming here or checking out our website. So this is kind of a quick overview or snapshot of the amount of materials we have access to here at the library. So over 1 million books, hundreds of thousands of ebook titles, DVDs, streaming databases. We also have Blu-rays, CDs, over 360, and I think that number is higher now, online databases where you can access
400, yeah.
over 400,
Yeah.
Where you can access those ebooks or articles. And then the total number of online journal articles that you can get access to through our library is in the millions. And then, of course, to help you navigate all these many, many things, there are librarians like Erin and myself that can really help you guide you in the right direction if you're not familiar with finding these materials. So these are the types of things that we have access to. Some of them are available in the building, so they're physical items. Many of them are available online. And then there are some that you might be able to access either or, both in person or online.
So again, we're going to give an overview of some resources. This includes study spaces and rentals, kind of computers and computer software, and a few spaces in our library. Just to know that your ID retriever card is your library card and everything is free. So for example, if you want to book a study space in the library, this would be like a private space or a group study space. You can go to the website, scroll halfway down the page, you'll see a yellow navigation bar and these different options like hours, places to study, etc. I'll talk about equipment in just a second. And then just know it's open seating. Obviously, if you find an open desk or carrel throughout the library, there's 7 floors, and it progressively goes quieter, except for the 7th floor, which is our event space. And now the president has offices up there, so it's also a talking space. Floors 1 and 2 are conversation, 3 and 4 are whisper, 5 and 6 are silent study. There is a 24/7 space. I think this is mostly popular with undergrads, but anyone is welcome with a swipe card. You can get in and access that study space. Otherwise, the main library section does close at 10 p.m. during the week and a little earlier on the weekend.
I will point out that the RLC, or the Retriever Learning Center, is one of the only spaces on campus that is truly open 24/7, 365 days a year. So if campus is closed, either because it's break or holiday or for inclement weather, the Retriever Learning Center is always open. So you may, if you're on campus over the holidays and everywhere else is closed, you need a place to study, the RLC is going to be one of your only options.
There are locker reservations available for daily use or semester use, and this can be helpful if you happen to just be lugging a lot of books around. The semester locker can be really helpful if you're working on a lengthy project like grad students usually are. So feel free to follow the link and you can request a locker space online. Then you would receive an email and you would go to the main library desk on the 1st floor to pick up your key. There are laptop loans, there's a limited supply, and they're very popular. There's a mix of Dells, Macs, and there are some Chromebooks. Chromebooks are handy because usually they're available first come, first serve. The loans typically are for the Dells and the MacBooks. So again, a link to follow that.
And the screenshot we have there, you'll notice that the Dells, the MacBooks, and the Chromebooks listed show a loan period of 7 days. There are other Chromebooks that you don't see in this screenshot that are available for, I think, 7 or 8 hours. So they're a shorter term loan. As we said, the laptops are very popular. If you think you might need one, either because you don't want to bring your computer to campus or yours is in the shop getting repairs, these can be a great option.
And also just know there are open computers, like desktop computers available, 1st floor, 2nd floor, I think 5th and 6th floors of the library. So you can just, if you see one that's open, you can feel free to use that without a reservation.
And to log into our desktop computers, you just need your campus user ID, which is that first little bit of your email address that comes before the @UMBC, and then the password that you use to log into MyUMBC in your email. Those are your campus username and password, and that's what you use to use our desktop computers.
That's also the case for printing. I don't know if I have a slide for printing, but there's printing in the Commons building, there's printing in the library. You would, again, log in with your username and password. There are printing stations and some directions. I would also mention it's about 10 cents per side for black and white, and you can pay with Retriever dollars, which I don't obviously have a campus meal plan, but I do load Retriever dollars on my ID card and I use that to print for personal things.
And that's the only way to pay for printing is with Retriever dollars. You can't use cash. There aren't machines to feed cash into for printing. You have to go through the campus card website.
That's right. So again, there are computers available throughout the library with special software, institutional subscriptions to different softwares. There's also software available to download. So this can be very helpful. Categories of faculty, staff, students, and there's a couple products that are just for graduate students as well as faculty and staff. So again, feel free to follow any of these links and download. It's really helpful. Personally, I like having Adobe on my laptop and Microsoft. So Those are some nice.
Yeah, so these are downloads that you can put on your own personal devices. So if you have a laptop or a desktop computer at home, you can download these things. And then, yeah, there's the other list on the last slide that shows what's available on the computers in the library.
Yes. Oh, yeah. These have all the holdings in the library, just to mention. There's a link to it. So a couple specialty spaces. This is probably new from 2013. So there's a digital media lab. This is a space that you can check out audio and visual equipment, cameras, tripods, GoPros. I think there's projectors that are pretty popular. Again, there is a couple spaces in that as well. There is a whisper room that can be really helpful for recording audio. A lot of people use it for like podcasts or audio assignments. There's also a green screen room that would be for video recording and video editing. So you can visit that space. If you can also click on the slide, there's a website to visit and you can book in advance. The whisper room, the green screen room. There's also some very specialty softwares like video editing that's not available generally on the library computers or for download that you can use while you're in the digital media lab.
Are there instructions on how to use this stuff?
So there are booklets included in every item that you can check out.
They're also on the website.
Yes,
So
that's
once you
right.
check out something,
That's
say you check out a DSLR camera and you've never used one before, they have the equipment handbooks available in PDF form on the website. And yeah, I do think Erin's right that they also sometimes come with the item. So once you get it home, you can look at the materials.
To be honest, if I'm using a piece of technology, I will look up the name of it, like the exact name of it, and throw it in YouTube and see if there's any YouTube tutorial. I find it helpful to get a little video tutorial. So that's what I recommend. This is a space that opened up, I believe, this summer or last summer. Last summer. So the Innovation Lab, it has 3D printers, 3D scanners, laser cutters, and there's some other equipment that's coming. The general hours are 12 to 4. And once you're there, the nice thing about that space is you can get assistance in using those different options, equipment. So if you don't know how to use a 3D printer, it is staffed and you can get assistance with that. So the use of the equipment is free and available to anyone at UMBC, but the supplies for it. So if you are using a large amount of, filament for the 3D printer, you do have to pay for the filament itself. So think about like printing with paper or ink. You pay for the supplies, but you don't need to pay for the equipment.
Yeah, and there are tutorials on their website. If you go to the link on the slide there, they have tutorials that will kind of walk you through a few different of the equipment there. And yeah, as Erin said, they are very friendly in there. They are quite used to helping students or staff who have never used these tools before. And they love introducing folks to this new technology. So you're welcome to use it for both class purposes or for fun personal projects. And so if you've never used a 3D printer before, but you've always wanted to learn, this is a great opportunity.
Yeah, they're really friendly. It's a good group.
And you can bring your own pattern.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yes.
figure actually get the pattern.
They also would be able to, I'm sure that they could direct you to some websites where you could find free patterns.
Yeah.
They may even have some listed on their website. I'm not sure, but yeah, they are very kind of new user friendly there.
It's a great group. See if I can get full screen again.
And where is that in the lab?
So actually that's a great question. That is located on the first floor next to the circulation checkout desk area.
You just walk past that.
You just kind of walk past, yep. And opposite the elevators on the first floor. The digital media lab is located, it's tucked around on the second floor. It's a little harder to find. If you take the elevators up the second floor, there should be a sign that kind of directs you down the hallway, and that's the digital media lab. Oh yes, I will say I highly recommend going to the special collections and gallery, especially the open gallery exhibit. It's open right now, and I believe the theme or the focus, sorry, wrong link, this semester is leisure travel during the Jim Crow era and Black tourism. And it's a collection of photographers that focused on that. collections that Special Collections has access to that's just at UMBC. So that is a curated exhibit.
There are a couple of events coming up related to that, some artist talks and tours that you can find by going to their website. They have a calendar of upcoming events. It's free, and it's also just a really nice space if you are looking for kind of a quiet, peaceful spot. The gallery is perfect for just kind of a place to sit in quiet. I like it a lot.
And it used to be the original library.
Yeah, the footprint.
Yep.
My library.
Nice, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. It was a much smaller library back then.
Back in the.
It's grown a bit.
That's grown.
Circulation desk is still in there.
I think
Maybe.
so too,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think that's true.
In the corner
That's
over there.
right.
Mhm.
Wow. And then also just special collections. So that is the archival collection at UMBC. There's some really fantastic collections. They of course focus on the university history itself, but they have collections relating to Maryland history, Baltimore history. They have a fantastic visual arts and photography collection as well, and other things.
Science fiction, zines, graphic
Oh, that's
novels.
right. They have all the fanzines,
Yeah.
comic books from the 70s.
They've got some really cool stuff over there.
Yeah, they're great. Rare books. Also, just to say in one spot, the graduate student resource guide can be very helpful. So there will be slides and a recording also posted there. There are a number of different campus resources, research resources. It's kind of a one-stop research overview that you can visit. And the link is here on the slide as well. I'm gonna make sure I'm using the full screen. I haven't finished. Share. Right.
Thanks.
There we go.
All right, so just to give you a real quick overview, we're not going to do a deep dive into how to use the OneSearch because there are a lot of other opportunities where you can get information about that. One of those opportunities is our video tutorials. The link right there at the top of the slide will take you to a series of, I think, 3 or 4 shorter videos that really walk you through the process of using OneSearch, which is our on-campus library catalog. OneSearch is what you use to access everything from books, ebooks, articles, all of our online databases, and other media as well. But we do want to do a really some overview of how to use OneSearch. So to start out, you'll go to the library's website, library.umbc.edu, and right there on the homepage, you'll see this search box, just the screenshot on the screen there. In that box, you can type in, if you know the title of the book or the article you're looking for, you can put in the title, or if you have an author that you're looking for, you can put the author's name. You can also search by just keyword. So if you have some search terms that you're looking to find materials on, you can put those in. You can put as many or as few search terms as you have on hand. Once you start your search, you can filter by type of material. So let's say you're only interested in looking for books, or the item that you have the title for you know is a book. Sometimes it can be helpful to filter just and look at the book. So along the top of the search result page, you'll see these icons, and you can click on whichever one is relevant to your search. We also have the option of requesting books from all of the other University System of Maryland schools and their libraries. So the network that we're part of, and you can see it circled here in the screenshot, is USMAI. You'll see that abbreviation a lot on our website. It stands for University System of Maryland and Affiliated Institutions. There are a handful of private universities in Maryland, so Loyola and Notre Dame are some examples. They are part of our network of libraries, even though they're not technically part of the University System of Maryland. So any book that those Maryland University libraries has are available to you to check out. So if you do a search for a book, either by keyword or by title, and it's not available, so you'll see here under location items, where it does say UMBC Library available stacks, and then it lists the call number. So that lets you know that we do have a copy of this book. It's available on the shelves for you to go and find. If that was not an option, see down here at the bottom of this screenshot, it has other Maryland schools listed. That lets you know that you can request this book from one of these other institutions. And it's really a simple process to do. You'll just click on the school that you want to borrow it from. You may be asked to log in again with your UMBC username and password and just confirm that you want to pick it up here at UMBC. They'll put it in the mail, they'll have it brought here for you, and you'll get an email that lets you know when it's arrived at the desk, and you can just check it out from the checkout desk down on the first floor.
You have to choose which school it comes from, or can you just say, I don't
I
care?
think you do have to click on a specific school because some have it available. Others may own the title but not have it available to loan out. So I think you do have to click on this,
To know, you have to
but it's negligent. It almost doesn't matter.
I think the form may even default to just whoever has it.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I wouldn't worry
know
too
if
much
they
about
got
it.
only.
Right, yeah, so
Yeah.
once you click on the name of the school, I think the form does pop up and it might default again to the school that has it available that might be closest. But it will also let you know, hey, we see that they have it, but it's not available for borrowing, either because someone else has it checked out or it's on kind of a limited circulation. It really, I think we're making it sound more complicated than it really is. It's pretty straightforward.
Okay.
I mentioned stopping at the checkout desk to pick up your book if it's coming from another campus, but regardless of where you're getting it from, whether it's here in the building or from another school, all you need to check it out is your campus ID card. We mentioned earlier that this acts as your library card. So you would just need to bring it with you, whether you're checking out books or DVDs, anything from the building, you just need your campus ID and to stop at the checkout desk. There are some self-checkout stations also on the first floor. So if there's a line at the checkout desk and you'd rather just check it out yourself, you can stop up at one of those self-checkout stations.
Also, pro tip, if you have forgotten your ID and
Yeah.
you really want to take a book out that day, just show some form of photo ID. It can be a driver's license and they'll look you up in the system and you can still check out your book.
Yeah. I've got listed here the borrowing periods for graduate students. So regardless of when you are starting your checkout, whether it's today or April 15th, you can have that book until the end of, or May 1st, which is around the end of the spring semester. I think you do obviously have the option to renew on May 1st if there's no one else waiting for that material. Media items such as our laptops, things from the Digital Media Lab, but also DVDs, Blu-rays, CDs, those all have a period of 7 days that you can borrow those. Again, some of them have the option of renewing quite easily from your library account on our website. Other things like the laptops and sometimes the equipment from the Digital Media Lab don't have the option of renewing online and you have to come in and renew if it's available for renewing.
So if this is September, can I keep it all the way for next May?
So question on that, Brenna,
And I-
is that true for grad students or is there the December cutoff?
So I got this from here.
Okay, so it is that.
Yeah, so it does say May 1st. I think the only caveat to that is if someone else would like to borrow it, they can place a request and you may get a grace period of like a week before you do have to return it. Just to make sure that everyone who needs a book gets a chance to use it. So. It is a long loan period. I find it to be very, very convenient.
All right, I'm going to do a live demonstration. So when you're searching for articles, again, one way to select is that the icon options below the main search bar. These will open up once you click search. So if you are on the main library page, which I will open right now.
You can hit the home button and take it there.
Great. You can put in your search. Once you click that initial search, you're in the one search discovery layer and you have a lot more options. So one thing I will emphasize, if you remember nothing else from today, is that you do need to sign in. So this will prompt you through the Duo system. The reason for that is that there is full text available to UMBC affiliated users that is not available to the public. So you really do want to make sure you are logged in. And then just to note, you can always see if you are up in the upper hand, you will find your name. Otherwise, you'll see a sign in option. So once you have signed in, just know that the mix of results is going to be everything. It's going to be books and ebooks and articles. You can again limit that by some of the refining options. There's also peer-reviewed options over here. The filters are quite robust. You can narrow down by location. You can look at material type. I did peer-reviewed journals. If you do another search, whatever I have refined will be wiped out. So you do want to lock in your search if you want to continue this way. So if I add terms, it's going to narrow my search just a little bit. As you scroll through, it's just articles peer-reviewed from peer-reviewed journals. You can click on any title and see the description. Usually the abstract is pulled in. You can look at that. Or just from this landing page, you can directly go into a PDF or download of it. There's also some tools over on the side that you can actually see who has cited that article, and that is kind of fun to do a little bit of backwards research. You can also see what is being cited in the paper, right? So a couple quick tools. There's also the email. You can send any results that way. The permanent link will get you back to this page. That's actually something to emphasize as well. So remember to use a permanent link, not the link at the top of the browser. That link will break. You will not be able to get access. You'll get an error message if you come back. So you always want to use the tools on the library page. The permanent link will give you a library link through the paywall. Again, this is a subscription. This is something you're signing in to access. So you do want to use the permanent link. Any questions about that?
It takes you only to that article, but what takes you to your original list before you get to refine
The full
the
list?
full list, and then you would start refining it, but you want to go back to the original full list.
Yeah, good question. What I would recommend doing is using the thumbtack option and saving your whole query. So this is saving my whole query. So that thumbtack, if you save anything here, it's going to be saved to, I guess, my favorites or my folder system.
You can show that.
And if we, is that okay? Yeah. So if I click at the very top, again, you can see the favorites. I just saved my, these are the records that have been saved in the past. You can also save a search. So that is actually the search I just saved. It was the carbon capture and pollution search.
And before they just did a carbon capture search.
Correct.
They clicked.
I would need to have saved that search.
Yeah, any
You would've
any
put that.
new search, if you want to come back to that search, you have to save it. One, can I point out one
Yeah,
other tool?
absolutely. Please do.
So if you are, again, back on the search results, see this little QR code up at the top? If you click on this, you can copy this link, or you can scan the QR code with your phone. This takes you back to this list. So it's an alternative to saving it to your account. If you just wanted to send yourself the link to this page of search results, you could do that as well. So copy this link, maybe send it in an email to yourself or save it in a Word document. That's another way of coming back to a list of search results.
That's great. Yeah, thank you.
Okay,
Does it answer your question?
yeah.
Okay.
It just has to sink in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of saving, each step.
And there's more than one way of doing something.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is very true. That's very true. The other thing I like to do is just if I want to look at the information in the article itself, I often will click on the title and come to this page. It will tell me where to get the full text. I can click there and get the PDF. This is also where request options would show up. Say it was a physical book and I wanted to request it. That's where that option would show up that we were talking about earlier. For articles, it's going to be online, or it's going to be an interlibrary loan request. If there is no full text, you will be prompted to make an interlibrary loan request, which then will allow you to get a PDF of the article. It's usually pretty quick. It comes even within the same day, sometimes a day or two. I've gotten an article within 4 hours as a PDF, so I definitely recommend doing that.
I think we have a slide coming up that has some screenshots of interlibrary loans as well.
That's right. And then just again, the same toolbars here, you can click the permanent link that will take you exactly to this one source, this one page right here. The citation, there's a few different options to get you started on the citation. It's, I don't know, you still want to check it over. It's about 85%, 90% accurate. There can be errors, but it's a good start. There's a few other options as well. If you're using a citation management software program, you can always use the RES information.
And to your question, Glenda, about if I have questions on how to use these different tools, you'll see the pop-up on the bottom right hand of the screen that says, can we help you? If it's during our chat hours, and we'll get into this a little bit more when we talk about different ways to get in touch with the librarian, but let's say you're on this page and you've forgotten how to save a search and you want someone to tell you again, you're welcome to click on that chat box button. This is a live librarian. Like Erin and myself, our colleagues downstairs in their offices, it's not a bot, it's not an AI bot, it's not someone from another university. So you could certainly in here type, hey, can you remind me how to save a search list or a list of search results? And we'd be happy to walk you through that process, or really any other question you had about accessing different materials.
After 5 p.m., this will go into email form and we'll answer the next day.
Yeah.
Just know that really your search will change depending on what keywords you put in. So I always recommend trying different search terms. There's also the advanced search. If you want to have a couple different options, you can add new terms. It just gives you a little more power and control over your search. But honestly, I use the main search bar most of the time. So anything else with that? So there are screen shots of some of what I discussed. I talked about the different refining tools. Oh yeah, I'm glad there's a screenshot of this. So one of the refining tools was at the very top, I can show you, is the option to expand results beyond USMAI. This would open up a lot more interlibrary loan results. So if you really are trying to do a very thorough review of all the literature and you want to find truly any article that's been written on it, you would want to select that. So I always tell someone who's working on like a literature review to definitely do that option. And that would be this toggle on the top. So we went, oh, I should have. So we went from, now there's over 600,000 results. If we don't have that on, 250,000.
So that 250 are just the things available through UMBC and the University System of Maryland and affiliate institutions. By turning that option on, you're looking almost globally, articles that are available at libraries all over the world.
Yeah.
And books too, because we haven't refined it down to just articles.
Options from other libraries outside of USM would be interlibrary loan. So yeah, there's peer review, there's publication date. We haven't talked about all of these, but just know that you can explore those filters and use them to refine. And I did mention the advanced search, so that can be helpful to either add some terms or if you want to be very specific. Now, as an example of this, I used this the other day because I was looking for the exact play script Waiting for Godot by Beckett. When I was doing my search, just in the normal box, I was seeing a lot of literary criticism and articles about the play. So I wanted the actual play. So I was able to put in the author as Beckett and the name in the advanced search, and it came right up. So just another way of using it. Now, if you have a specific article, say that you have identified something from a bibliography or a reference list, you can search by the specific title. Sometimes I will just do a copy and paste of the title itself and the last name of the author, and usually that should come up. You do want to make sure the toggle is on to expand beyond USMAI to make sure that you're looking at all the results. We talked about saving. I guess we didn't mention downloading, but there is the download option. It's probably the safest way because once you graduate and don't have access to the databases, a lot of these are behind a paywall, so they're not usually available to the public. So I do recommend downloading what you have. You can take it with you that way. Yeah, and that's a bit about the search.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, any questions?
when you graduate, you don't have access to the library.
When you graduate, you have access to walk in and use the physical building, and any databases will be accessible to you if you're physically present in the library. So we have community users that come in and use the library, and they get access to all our databases if they're physically present on campus. Once you graduate, you will not be able to log in remotely and get access to all those databases.
You also, in terms of like books and other physical items, you can apply for special borrower privileges that will allow you to check out the things physical in the building. The checkout terms, like length of time, is different
Much shorter.
from when you were a graduate student. So, but yeah, we absolutely do have community users all the time using our different resources in the building.
Okay.
Couple things I wanted to point out, more again related to the articles and materials we have available. A good place we like to direct new graduate students, new other students, are the research guides that are available on our website. So these are great places, again, if you're not really familiar with the top databases in your field, or you're curious what some of the recommended books general to that discipline might be. We have a research guide for every program, major, department on campus. These are websites that the librarians have put together and maintain. We keep them up to date so that there's always new things. So personally, for the departments that I maintain, under the Find Books tab, I always have the most recent books that I've purchased for that collection. Other librarians, other colleagues of mine might have a mix of most recent purchases, but also the most popular books. So it really just depends department to department. And let me kind of show you what these look like. Again, there's one for every single major and program on campus. One of mine is the biological sciences. So here I've got the top databases for biological science research. And then also some open access databases. These are the books that I've purchased most recently for the department. And then other pages are going to have some other different titles. I have some links for different places to go to get images and videos and other resources. But again, the full list, you'll just find your department. This is also where you can go to find your subject librarian. So if you are in the Africana Studies department, you'll see here Katie is the librarian for that department. But in a second, I'll show you where you can go to get that information in another place as well.
Just to add
Yeah.
one very quick thing. So you might wonder, what's the benefit of using a specific database? Does the main search include those databases? The answer is mostly yes. Almost all of our databases are included in the big, giant search. That's why we're getting so many results, like hundreds of thousands of results. Now, sometimes that can be great. You want to see everything. But let's say if you're doing a specific research project, especially if you're working on your dissertation or your thesis, and you are in a public policy program, but you keep getting psychology journals, right? Because it's so interdisciplinary. So that would be the benefit of going to the public policy LibGuide, research guide here, and just seeing what the main public policy databases are and searching individually in those databases.
Yeah, it allows you to really cut out everything that might not be relevant to your discipline and really focus in on the resources and articles that are specific to your program. We mentioned Interlibrary Loan already. This is that global network of libraries that share resource materials. So again, if you're looking for something and we don't have access to it at UMBC, or no one in Maryland has access to it, you'll place an interlibrary loan request. ILLiad is kind of the brand name of our interlibrary loan system. The first time you place a request in interlibrary loan, or you want to, you will need to register your campus account with interlibrary loan. It's very simple. You'll just need to provide some information like verify your email address. I think it does ask you for your home address. I'm not really sure why. We don't ever mail things to your home, but it does ask you to just confirm your information so we know who you are. And then once you've done that for the first time, you're good to go for any other ILL searches. You can request through ILL things like PDFs of articles and book chapters, ebooks, but then also things that only exist in print, hard copies, you can request those as well. So old books, rare books sometimes are an example of things you might only be able to find hard copies of. What were you going to say?
Just one comment on the form. So it's pretty simple. There's just one field that does ask you for your library ID. What on earth is your library ID? It is a number on your ID card. It's on the bottom right corner. It's the one time you'll use this number. It's a 14-digit number.
So if you're looking at your campus card, there's the barcode at the bottom of your card. You'll see your name, and then under that is your campus ID. Opposite your campus ID is your library card number. And yeah, that's really the only time you'll ever need that number, is when you're creating your interlibrary loan account.
And we do have over 400 databases now. We've added some since we did their first slide. Just know that you can also just search that list. If you are on the library page, you would go, I would actually say, yeah, probably the best way, sorry, I should have checked that before. So if you go to your search, you do want to get to the main OneSearch discovery. And then at the top, you do have some additional items and ways of searching. So the database search is going to list all our databases. You can also search by topic, by subject area, if you want to see what databases we have available. Also, just next to it is our journal search. So if you have the name of a specific journal you want to find out, that would be how you would search for that. Just quickly on the database list, again, it's going to list, we have 455 now, I guess. It always keeps increasing. But you can see that alphabetically, but I also recommend using this little search bar over here. You can just put in your area of research and see what is related to, say, geography. These are our different databases related to that. Something that can be useful for grad students is to explore other dissertations and theses, and we have a whole database just for that. So again, you can search for that on the database A to Z list, or you can just click into this link and go directly there. It's a ProQuest database. Dissertations will show up in our main AOK OneSearch search, but they're usually buried. It tends to privilege articles and books. So dissertations are usually at the bottom of the results. So I just recommend going directly to the database and doing a search. And you'll see dissertations from nationally and some international. So it's universities all over.
Yeah, I think there's actually two links if you go back to the slide. So
Yes, that's correct.
there's the first link, databases, dissertations, and theses. ProQuest, that's an international database. If you want to look just at dissertations and theses that have been published through UMBC, the second link is the one to go to.
You still want to find it. Both popped up here. So the UMBC one is limited to UMBC dissertations, and this can be great. You can look up by advisors. You could look up by subject area. You can see what's been published in your field, or what's been, sorry, not published, what has been accepted as a dissertation and approved. Yes. So that can be nice.
How far back does it go?
That's a great question. It only, so my understanding is it just goes back the last couple of decades. So it doesn't go back through the history of UMBC. Special Collections does have a copy of those dissertations from the early years, I believe. So I think we have either a physical copy on our campus or we have the digital version.
Because I think it only goes back to when they started digitizing, when you had to
Yes.
submit your dissertation or thesis as an electronic file. Prior to that, when you were still submitting them as paper copies, I don't think for the most part, they've gone back to digitize those. I think they just have the paper copies available, but that's a great question.
That's the one I want to check out.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not sure what year he got his doctorate in.
So I would say you could check out the UMBC one, but then if it's something that's only physical, it would be on our main search.
Yeah.
You could try his name in the main search. Yeah. Yeah, if you want to check out Research House.
Yeah, so I showed you how to get access to that online chat, but that's also accessible from our homepage. And I'll come back. I want to finish up the slide before I go to our website again. So you can also stop by the research help desk to ask any questions you have. It's on the first floor across from the printers. The hours that is staffed are Monday through Friday, 10 to 5. Now there is a window in the kind of in the middle of the day, I think from 12 to 2, that there is physically someone standing at the desk ready to answer questions. Outside of 12 to 2, between the hours of 10 to 5, there's a little doorbell on the front. We're usually back in our offices working. You can ring the doorbell and we'll come right out and answer your questions. Again, if the doorbell's out and there's no one at the desk, just ring it and we'll come right out. Sorry, were you going to say something?
And if there is the circulation checkout desk just next to it. So if you have like a simple question printing or something like that, you can always ask someone there.
Yep. Research help desk questions are great for like, just really kind of general basic questions. More in-depth research questions of like, I'm looking for help getting started on my lit review, or I'm really having a hard time finding articles about this topic. Those would be great questions to ask in a research appointment, which leads me to our third bullet point there. Make a research appointment. We meet with graduate students all the time. I think most of my appointments are with graduate students, less so with undergrad students, but it does vary from librarian to librarian. Those can be anywhere from 30-minute to hour-long appointments. We can do them in person or virtually on WebEx or Google Meet. There's a form on our website that you would fill in that lets us know kind of, is this related to a class that you're taking, or is it related to like your dissertation or theses? What are some things that you want to cover in this meeting and that sort of thing? To show you where some of these things are, again, on our website, if you go to our homepage, that's kind of one of the places you can access the chat. So there, if there's a yellow flag over on the right-hand side of the screen, you can click on that. And if it's between those hours of 10 to 5, Monday through Friday, this second window will open, and that's where you can type in your research, your question. We get questions about all sorts of things, not just research related. If it's outside of 10 to 5, that'll take you to that email form that Erin mentioned, where we'll get a copy of that and we can answer it the next morning. To make a research appointment, go to Research Help and then make a research appointment. This will take you to the full list of all of the librarians and the departments we work with. So you can certainly search by your department name, or you can scroll down. It's in alphabetical order. So Linda, you said you were with GES. So Semhar is your subject librarian. So if you wanted to make an appointment with her to talk about your research, you could certainly send her an email, or you could click this blue schedule appointment button and it'll populate her calendar. So you can click on a day and see what times she has available for appointments. Click a day and time that works for you. Click the continue button, and she'll, she has a little form here that you can fill out that gives her an idea of what the appointment might be about. Okay, and then she'll reach back out to confirm the appointment, ask any follow-up questions she might have. If you wanted to meet online, she would send you a link to the WebEx or Google Meet meeting.
Semhar actually only meets online.
Yeah,
just a heads up. Everyone else has kind of mixed, but Semhar would be an online appointment.
Yeah. And then Rebecca, you said you're with math. Is that the department you're working, or public policy? Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. I work in math, but my department I'm doing my PhD program with is public policy.
So Jasmine Shoemaker is your subject librarian in the public policy department. If you haven't reached out with her yet, she's a great contact to make, similar to Semhar or any of us. I personally love research appointments, especially with graduate students. I love learning about the research that others are doing and kind of getting a chance to dive into a research topic that's new to me. So I hope that you'll consider reaching out to the librarians for research help.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Covered the chat already. Here's a picture of the research help desk if you're not sure where it is. I've also listed the hours there that it's staffed, and you can see on the front of that desk, the little white box, that's our doorbell that you can ring. And again, links and information about making research appointments.
Yeah, I will just say, one thing that we do is we purchase materials for the library as subject librarians, as reference and instruction librarians. So for grad students, we absolutely recommend that if you are not finding what you need, or you're finding that the interlibrary loan is not available to you to get a certain physical book, just send us an email. You can directly contact us. I get emails from students requesting things for their research. Or there is a form to fill out with the link. Note that this would apply to physical items like DVDs or physical books. For any type of article, it would be an interlibrary loan always, in every case. Yeah. And you're in a library workshop, so you're ahead of the curve. There are several events coming up. We have a robust suite of workshops. There are literature review workshops, there's poster design workshops, lots of different things. So just know that you can follow us. You can click the option to follow the library. You can see the different events that are posted there.
Most of our workshops we offer every semester.
Yes.
So don't be overwhelmed by the amount of workshops we're offering. Pick the ones that work for you or you think will be applicable this semester. And then know that, in the spring, maybe take another one that you can sign up for. And as I mentioned at the top of our workshop here today, if ever there's a workshop that you're interested in, but you already know that the time and day conflicts with your schedule, go ahead and register anyway, because we always send out the recording and the slides and any other handouts or materials to anyone who's registered for a workshop, whether they attend or not.
Yeah, and there's actually a new series going on that Brianna is leading.
Yeah, so we have again, new this semester, 4 skills-based workshops that I've designed specifically for graduate students. The first one is coming up in a couple of weeks. It's on technical writing. And that's technical writing across the disciplines. It's not just scientific writing, but it's technical writing. It's going to be on Tuesday, September the 23rd from 3 to 4. Similar to this workshop, it's going to be both online and here in Library 259. We have one on systematic reviews, one on advanced research strategies, and then Erin and another colleague of ours, Katie, are leading the managing and organizing your research workshop at the end of October. So those are the 4 grad student skills workshops that we're offering this semester. If you want to learn more information and get an idea about what each of these covers or to register for any of these, you can follow the link that's shown at the bottom of this slide here. Yeah, I'm really excited about them. I'm leading the first 2, the technical writing and systematic reviews, and then other colleagues of mine are leading the second 2.
So I did mention our group with the events. Again, you can follow us. We also have different events. I think our symposium this fall is on AI and using AI tools, if that's of interest. We have different outside speakers that will be online. It's all an online symposium. And there's other events. There's the gallery talk that the curator's coming and speaking about the photography exhibit that's going on right now in the gallery. And that's, I believe, next Friday. So there's just different events that happen throughout the semester.
And other announcements related to library materials, like if we get a new database subscription, we'll often post about that. If we add new equipment to the digital media lab, we'll often put a post up about that. So the MyUBC site is just a great way to stay in touch with anything that's going on in the library.
Yeah, any comments? We'd love to hear any feedback or anything that was useful, anything you'd want to know more about. We realize this is like the overview workshop. There's some that do deeper dives, but feel free to put anything in the chat or just share if there's anything that stood out. And we don't want to put anyone on the spot either, but if there's something that comes to mind.
I just want to thank you both. Obviously, there have been a lot of changes over the past 12 years since I got my master's, some really exciting changes. While you were presenting, I went and found, like Jasmine's information, and I already found she's got resources ready to go for the class I'm currently enrolled in.
Oh,
So,
perfect.
Oh, fantastic.
That's
yeah,
perfect.
so while I know I can make an appointment with her, which is great, I can see she's already on top of things and has stuff ready to go for us, which is really fabulous. So thank you.
Oh, fantastic.
That's great.
That's so good to hear. Well, wonderful. We do have a link to share feedback. We are just gathering feedback from every workshop, so this is anonymous, but we use it to think about and develop and improve for the next semester. Actually, let me see if I can even just type that in. Sorry to anyone in person. I'm just going to try to type it directly. Okay, so there is that link. Yeah, all right. And this was the overview, grad student services for success, I believe, library resources for
Yeah.
grad students. Yeah. We have our contact information here, but also all the different subject librarians. There's a total of 6 of us. And know that you can view the slides. We'll also be sending out the recording and the slides from today if you registered, or you can just let us know if you didn't register and just share your email with us and we'll make sure you get that as well. That concludes our time. Thank you both so much for coming.
Yeah. Any
Thank you so
questions before we close?
I'm good. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Rebecca. Best of luck this semester.
What's the difference between the subject librarian and the librarian for each of the departments?
Oh, it's just the term we use, so it's no difference. Subject librarian is what we are. So I'm a subject librarian.
So you said there are 6 subject librarians, so each,
We each cover multiple
Multiple
departments.
subjects.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. So I cover, I think, 7 departments. It
Yeah, and I
depends on-
have 4 that I cover.
Yeah.
So it just depends. Most of us have like, so I only cover science departments. Erin does a mix of humanities and some fine arts departments. We have other colleagues that do a mix of humanities and social science departments. So yeah, we just,
oh, okay.
we cover what we can, but we also all feel equipped to answer general questions.
Yeah.
But if there is something specific to your research in GES, Semhar is going to be the perfect resource for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is a lot, it has to kind of set.
It is,
Yes.
yes, yeah, yeah. You can go ahead and turn the recording off. Yeah, so